It was written in the stars, and when it's written in the stars, especially since years, well, you can fight against it. How much you want, when it's written, it has to happen. And this morning, Romeo Agresti is confirming it. Done deal. Luciano Spalletti is the new coach of Juventus Football Club. The one that was on the bottom of my wish list, the one that I didn't want, that I was fighting against since years, is the new coach of Juventus Football Club. And now I have to embrace it. But he didn't have to convince Giuseppe, Beppe, GJustjuve. He didn't have to convince the supporters, the tifosi. No. The one that he needed to convince was Damien Comolli. So we will give you in this video the behind the scenes, what he said in that meeting room yesterday, the convincing things that he said to actually make sure that Damien Comolli was sure about his choice. And then, of course, we need to speak about the detail, a little detail. That is the fundamental game that we are playing at 6:30 p.m. Juventus Udinese. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you are ready for the game of today. I hope that you are ready for a new era that is called Luciano Spalletti, head coach of the Bianconeri. 3 meetings were needed. 1 phone, 1 on Teams, and then the third one, the one that was key, the one that was decisive. Yesterday, physical meeting, 1-to-1, face-to-face. And that meeting was key and decisive enough for Comolli, when he closed the door without having the signature, to call Modesto, Chiellini, and all the members that are deciding to say, stop looking for another coach. Stop all the contacts that you are having at the moment, that it's Palladino, Mancini, Xabi, or whatever other name that you have in mind. I will even stop with other ideas because we found the right one. And the right one now, in this crucial moment, is Luciano Spalletti. How did he arrive yesterday, Luciano Spalletti, in that meeting? What did he say? I will tell you after you put a maximum of like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you didn't yet, because yesterday Spalletti, he arrived in a dark wagon, car, whatever you want to call it, where the journalists couldn't see that it was Spalletti. He arrived there in La Continassa. And what and how did he say? Well, yesterday Spalletti arrived in that meeting session extremely assertive, extremely convinced. It was not the usual Spalletti that was probably using this book, Only the Brave, with multiple quotes, speaking with quotes where quotes are beautiful, are strong, are really great. But unfortunately, it still gives you an open door to own interpretation. It's what you do with that quote. No. Yesterday, he didn't want to use quotes. Yesterday, he didn't start with really long, eternal sentences where you are lost in the middle of the way. Yesterday, what they told me is that Luciano Spalletti, in that one-on-one, because there was nobody else in that room, with Damien Comolli, was extremely clear in his words, extremely clear in his ideas, and these ideas he was able to translate them to Damien Comolli, which is extremely great. He had 3 topics where the entire meeting was turning around. First, on top of that list, and it's not a coincidence, the men. 2, the players. 3, the objectives. But pay attention, because when we are speaking about objective, it's not about Scudetto, how long we need for the Scudetto, what about the Coppa Italia, it's not about 4th spot, no. It's something totally different. You will probably be surprised by what I will tell you. So what about the first topic, the men? You remember that quote that he said, uomini forti, destini forti, uomini deboli, destini deboli, non c'è altra strada, a quote that I really disliked, especially if I'm translating it with this Juve, with the men that we have. Because for the people that do not understand Italian, what does it mean? Strong men equals strong destiny. Weak men equals weak destiny. There is no other way. Especially that last part I really dislike, because if you are convinced that the strong men will give you a strong destiny, and if they are weak, well, it's over, you will collapse, and there is no other way. Well, we know that since years, and this is not to blame on Tudor or Thiago Motta or whatever, since years one of the biggest weaknesses that we are speaking about day by day is that mental fragility of our players, that lack of leadership, that lack of strong men, that lack of fighting spirit and reacting when there are difficult situations, when you are conceding a goal, where the game is not going towards what you were planning. We know it, and this is something that is open, public. It's not a secret that I'm telling you. Luciano Spalletti extremely aware of this Juventus and their weak points, and that's why he changed it in that meeting of yesterday. Because that quote, and I'm not giving you a literal quote that he said with Comolli, but the concept is changing with him saying, pay attention, I update it because this Juve needs another update. Our destiny will be and is a consequence of having the right men and having the right behavior, the right attitude. And that change of quote is much better if we are translating it with this Juventus, with these men. Because it shows that Spalletti is open and knows what he needs to work in priority. Because without the right men, guys, we are going nowhere. How many times I received question about how will Spalletti play? What will be his idea of football? Will it be a 4-3-3? Will it be a 4-2-3-1? Will it be a 3-5-2 like he played with Italy at a certain moment, but also with other clubs in his career? This is not the first point, even if I heard that he wants, the idea is to start with a 4-man defense, but this is not even the priority today. The first thing is identifying who are the right men for Juve. At the moment, you cannot change them. Mercato is closed, so who are the right men? Is it Locatelli? Is it Dusan Vlahovic? Is it Di Gregorio? Is it Yildiz? Is it Bremer that at the moment is not able to play because he's injured? Who are these right men in terms of behavior, attitude? Is it Cambiaso, who he had a beautiful relationship during his time at the Azzurri? Identifying the right man will be his first step. Then, of course, who could potentially arrive in the winter in terms of Mercato, but that's something that we'll speak about a bit later. Then he went for that second topic, the players. The players. They are not world class. That's what people are thinking. That's what we see with our eyes on the field. Because the team that is not winning for 8 games in a row, not scoring for 4, losing 3 games in a row, the team that collapsed multiple times, the team that, if we are looking at transfer market in terms of value, is always decreasing instead of increasing. We are doing a mercato. We take some players that could potentially be world class, a Douglas Luiz, a Koopmeiners, a Nico Gonzalez that was a great player, and what he's doing with Atletico Madrid is not bad at all. And at Juve, they transform themselves in not delivering, in not performing. Look at the Jonathan David, 1 goal. Look at the Openda. Look at the Dusan Vlahovic that starts really well for August, September, half of September, and then he totally disappears. Well, that's important. If they are not world-class today, we can make them world-class. How? Not working individually with them, but in a total different way. Collectively, because it's thanks to the results of the team, thanks to the way that we will work together as a team, that these players will gain value, will potentially become world-class players. That's the vision that he has today, becoming better all together and achieving things together, what we were not thinking about. Strikers, Koopmeiners are, of course, in his topic, how to give them the possibility to perform. And then the objective, what I told you that you would be totally surprised, well, I tell you, they didn't speak about the Scudetto in 2 years. They didn't speak about what we do with the Coppa Italia, immediately winning it, to have a trophy in our cabinet. They didn't speak about top 4 as a minimum to actually save Juventus financially. No, they didn't talk about that. The non-objective, because that's actually the big topic, no objective to reach the objective. It's really strange, and that's really a Spalletti way of communicating. He didn't come and promise anything. He didn't say, I promise you top 4 because then I want an extension, but he promised something much wider, much more wider, because his vision is extremely clear, the one of Spalletti. No short-term objectives, no day-by-day philosophy. The mission is to build, to rebuild, listen really carefully, Juventus. And if you put the word Juventus in the head, in the brain, in the heart, in the mouth of Luciano Spalletti, Juventus means greatness. Juventus means the top. Juventus means vincere è l'unica cosa che conta. Juventus means a lot for one that is 66, that saw with his eyes when he was a player, but then also as a coach, what Juventus was. He knows what it is to step into the Allianz Stadium, what Juventus represents in Italy. That greatness that a lot of new generation tifosi, but also the older ones, are starting to lose. They are starting to look at Juve like it is the new Manchester United of Italy. It's mediocrity. We are not there. We will not arrive there. How many Juventini lost their hope of seeing back Juventus again at their glory days? Well, Luciano Spalletti said, that's what we need to work on. Let's stop speaking about objectives. Building and rebuilding Juventus, super important. And with these words, that's how we convinced Damien Comolli. And on top of that, if you want to know everything about it, yesterday, the word that will circulate the web, that will become viral, that he said in that meeting is, I don't care about the contract. Give me whatever contract you want. I don't even ask you about money. I don't ask you about length of contract. Give me whatever you want, because I am the one that must prove on the pitch that I deserve that confirmation. If I am not the man for the job, if I am not up to it, well, you have absolutely the right to let me go. And that's why we go towards the details of that contract that at the moment are saying a contract until June 2026. An extension based on Champions League qualification, but for one more year, guys, not 3 years. Oh, we are speaking about Luciano Spalletti, that was on the bottom of my list that I didn't want, but if we're speaking about a guy that did his time already, has nothing to prove anymore. He won a Scudetto, a fantastic Scudetto with Napoli, the way how, it's another discussion, but he won it. He won that Scudetto. He brought some teams nearly close to winning a Scudetto. He won in a foreign country with Zenit. He coached La Nazionale, that ended really bad. But Luciano Spalletti could have said, oh, ragazzi, I'm 66. I have more to lose than to win. But he came there to say, oh, I am the one that I need to prove. I need to put myself in the game. Wow. And these words totally convinced Damien Comolli. Then, of course, you will tell me, Beppe, who are the players that will perform immediately, not performing immediately? Who are the players that are risking? Of course, we speak about the name of Locatelli. We speak about players a la Jonathan David, a la Openda. At the moment, no, I can go with the guess of the players that will give immediately in a short impact, and hopefully, but I think that could be potentially a Jonathan David that should not start in the game of today because I have newness there. It should be Dusan Vlahovic. About Mercato, we'll speak about it later. Today it's match day, don't forget, so we'll go fast towards the game of today so that it's a short video that you can enjoy it before meeting me here for a pre-game, watch along, and post-game. Juventus Udinese, I told you it's a fundamental game. It's a fundamental game. Luciano Spalletti apparently said the season starts on Thursday. Not that he says we don't care about Udinese, better if we have the 3 points that will give us the opportunity to still be at -6, but the real season starts on Thursday morning, when he will lead the first training session of the Bianconeri. But it's true that yesterday Napoli won and they are at the moment at +9, so depending what we will do today. Yesterday Atalanta Milan 1-1. So what could be the lineup? Led by Brambilla, we have a first stop, and that's a huge one because Khéphren Thuram will not be at disposal. He has a muscular, can we say injury? I don't know if it's an injury. It's a discomfort in this morning training session. He was in the starters of that list. He was in the starters today, so we will miss him. Let's see if we will miss him only today and if he can start training together with Luciano Spalletti, or if we will have to do without him. So no Khéphren Thuram, on top Dusan Vlahovic. For the rest, I think that we will go towards that 3-4-1 with Brambilla that will not invent hot water, because hot water already exists and he doesn't even have the time to change everything. So this is it for Luciano Spalletti and the latest information about Juve Udinese. We see each other pre-game, watch along, because I really hope that one game on the bench of Juve for Brambilla, that we are honoring him for everything that he did for Juventus as a club, especially for the next gen, but especially for Juventus as a club. We need to do it. We need to go back to win. Today I want to go to win the game against a difficult Udinese. Grazie, forza, Juve.